the structures or the things that you need to put in place to have a sustainable business, you would
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have? Yes. Are you back? Thank you. Yes. Okay, Bumi Olukoga, you want to say something? Thank you for that piece. Oh, you can't unmute. Sorry. Okay, let me see to that. I'm sure she's back. Sorry. Please, can you raise your hand with the other if you are on another device? Okay, you can unmute now. You can mute and go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. So I'll just quickly, can you see my screen? Is it showing
Not
now?
yet.
How about now? I think.
Yes, back up. Hold on.
Okay. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
I confirm.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, sir. So I was just introducing the book Business Resilience. It's an entrepreneur's blueprint for thriving in challenging times. And I said that is authored by Professor Olubenga Ogumoyela, and you would find all of the things that I mentioned, the things that we need to, the structures that we need to put in place for sustainable business. All of that will be found in this book, and you can get better insight, from reading the book. It will tell you the how, the what, the why you are doing the what, all of that with practical examples, real life situations, and examples. You'll find it inside this book. It's something that you really do want to get on your quest as you strive for sustainability and success in your business, right? And I'll just go straight to my conclusion to say that the resilience or tenacity of a business is in its ability to withstand and survive any crisis. So this is saying that no matter the challenge or the crisis that your business or the business environment is currently facing, how you'll be able to sustain your business is to consciously build in resilience, building structures that will make your business resilient, thriving or soaring through different crises or challenges that may come up. And there's one word that has found its way into vocabulary in this age. It's the word intentionality. You don't just, having heard all of this, you don't want to leave it to chance and say that things will work out. One of the ways you're going to look back at the year 2024 to say that you really achieved your goal is when you intentionally put the structures that were mentioned or you will yet find in the book, put them into place to ensure that your goal is achieved, right? And amidst all of the economic challenges and all that, we know that there are still enormous opportunities that we can still explore. Yeah, there are still things that you can still, there are still opportunities that you can still find that will help you grow your business better, that will help you achieve your goals better. And lastly, I'll just say that you should show up. The breakthrough is not overnight, right? Be consistent at it. Do not close up your business to your customers. Let them find a way to be able to reach you online, via phone calls. Just ensure that you're always there. They're always able to reach you. And I'm going to wish you a productive and successful business year. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Madam Mayokun Oreofe, for this privilege. I'm so grateful. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for your time and attention. God bless you.
God bless you too, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was you have done so much justice to this topic. Thank you so much. Thank you for looking at it from different angles. Thank you. Yes, can we have our president's hand is up. Do you want to say something now? But it's actually later. Okay, thank you. Noted, Ma. Thank you. So we move on to the next session. Then please, if you have questions, kindly note them and save them. We would work on it. And at the end of the second session, then you'll be able to ask, and the two speakers will attend to your questions. Please, so I call on Stephen Adebayo, please, to take the profile of the second speaker. Stephen, are you here? Okay, can anyone see Stephen? Is Stephen here, or I'll take it in his absence if he's not here.
Stephen is here, but he's not on. Maybe he doesn't have access to unmute.
Okay, I didn't get that, man.
Stephen is here, but I think he's unable to unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay. My name is Stephen Adebayo. I want to congratulate everyone for being here because it's actually a wonderful one. And right now I'm going to introduce a renowned icon in person of Dr. Lemi Omomuyiwa. He's the lead facilitator of Lamuel Oba and Associates. He has distinguished himself as one of the renowned motivational and entrepreneurship speakers in the country. And today he has conducted several workshops and seminars on broad managerial and social topics for some of the country's biggest corporate names locally and internationally. A faculty member of Financial Institution Training Center. His wealth of experience has enabled him design lectures that dare conventional thinking and challenge individuals and also organizations to evaluate their ways of doing things for the better. He had a long banking career with Barclays Bank, now Union Bank. He lecturer at Lagos State University Business School and international consultant to International Trade Center, the development partner for export success. As a joint technical or corporate agency, World Trade Organization, and the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a great person in our midst, Dr. Temi Omomuyin.
Thank you so very much, Stephen. Can you hear me?
Thank you, sir. Yes, we can.
All right.
Welcome, sir.
Let me say good afternoon to everyone. From where I am, it's still good morning. I want to say that it's a great privilege to have this opportunity to share with you on this great day. I have been informed that today is the birthday of someone that on checking her attainments so far, I was compelled to say truly, here comes an ambassador of goodwill based on the things that she has been able to actually put in place over the years. I salute you, ma, and I thank you for your contribution towards the advancement of humanity.
Thank you,
Today
sir.
being your natal anniversary, I pray that you have more to be added to your laurels. Your chalice of attainment will continue to overflow. I did say to someone that, look, this lady, by her name, Mayokun, is a very interesting symbolic personality, because Mayokun means that you are someone who comes into the life of people so that their joy can truly be full. And as you make the joy of other people full, your life too will express fullness of joy. You have become to many a way by which they may achieve in their life. You have become a source of strength that is encouraging them to carry on, even when everything seems bleak. And then you continue to shine as a beam of light on their way, such that they can continually triumph. Congratulations, ma.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Can you see my screen, please?
It's coming up, sir.
It's coming up.
Yes, sir.
All right, please. My screen is seen by all.
I confirm.
Thank you so much. When I was called upon to make this brief contribution, I was wondering what I can possibly say. And I want to say that I thank the previous speaker for the approach. I can only say that I'll try as much as possible to address an aspect that I have always found as very critical for anyone who, one way or the other, has taken upon him or herself the challenge of rendering service. Service in the sense of making life become a better experience on a continuous basis. So I want to address the theme from this perspective, and I've titled it, mutability as an essence of sustainable business practice. I feel that if, as a person, we do not have an in-depth understanding of what life itself connotes and what makes life continue, then we can easily be discouraged when we encounter contrariness along the way. So I want to suggest that this may be seen as a way of addressing what dropped in my spirit man as what I should say. And I simply want to build on what the previous speaker has spoken and see how we can have a more robust understanding of what it is. If you can see my screen, you will see that I'm trying to bring in the analogy of the iceberg. This analogy is I consider it as being very critical for every individual's advancement. Most of us are educated. Most of us are learned, as the legal people would like to address themselves. And most of us have developed insights. But the truth of the matter is that one way or the other, we tend to focus so much more on that which is externalized, on that which is more objective, so to say. And then we tend to pray down and see that which is unseen as if is an intrusion to that which can be seen. So we pray down the subjective aspects of manifestation, and then we emphasize so much more on the objective aspects of manifestation. Sometimes we even feel that that which we cannot objectively discern or quantify is actually an unreasonable thing. But over the years, the lesson we have learned is the fact that we cannot say that someone is a whole person or is truly an integrated personality until that which is seen and that which is unseen can actually be integrated to become a holistic manifestation. So I am simply saying by this slide that we see here that we need to know who truly we are. And if we are beginning to discover who truly we are, so that we can have an assessment or an understanding of the reason for our being, and then live accordingly. Because if you do not know why you are, then whatever activity comes your way might be acceptable. So I'm suggesting that we should learn to flip this iceberg so that though we have always looked so much on the IQ by virtue of our educational system, by virtue of the experiences we have had, intellectually we have been equipped, but one way or the other, we seem not to have paid much attention to our emotional self. And not paying so much attention to our emotional selves, we seem to have put in place a factor, a phenomenon that tends to actually impeach us when we enter into the threshold of greatness. So I'm suggesting here, let's learn to flip the iceberg of our life. Let's see how we can begin to integrate our emotional self, knowledge of our emotional self, with the knowledge of our intellectual self. How we can actually look at the totality of the person. A person is made up of three aspects. We have the physical aspect, we have the emotional aspect, and then we have the mental aspect. So an attempt that I want to make in this short contribution is to first and foremost encourage us to look at these three aspects as being critical and not to be extremely polarized on just an aspect. Though that has been the experience over the years, but more than ever before, lessons of the past is showing to us that every individual who truly must migrate from being a person into becoming an individual must look at these three parameters. Look at yourself physically, look at yourself emotionally, understand yourself mentally, and see how these three can be integrated. When they are integrated and they are the driving force of your behavior, your attitude and behavior, in all the things you engage yourself with in life, then you will always come out as a truly advanced individual, as a soulful person, doing things to make more or less become manifest that which is the desire of the now and also of the future. So I am saying here that the dilemma of our time, which faces every enterprising personality, is what we call the challenge of duality. That is, one way or the other, we found ourselves being pulled in diverse directions. If we look at the way I've just described a person, the personality, I said it's made up of the mental, emotional, and also the physical. Most of the time, there is a dichotomy between the mental and the physical. Unfortunately, therefore, by this dichotomy, when it is not addressed, many of us, we walk around like a walking civil war. And we go around being more confused or being confused, especially when it comes to making a decision, when it comes into making a choice. And sometimes you haven't made the choice. We sometimes find ourselves becoming powerless without the energy to actually practically make manifest that which we have decided upon. The last speaker did mention something about mental health. The inability to relate these three aspects of the being into a oneness is actually the very reason why mental health is becoming manifest. It has always been there, but it's becoming more and more topical, and it's been identified as a shortcoming of life as we have come to know life. So in essence, the challenge of duality being pulled in diverse directions has actually been the dilemma facing most of us, especially when we are now in a challenging environment. That type of environment that is challenging imposes upon us a type of crisis and a type of tension. And this is simply something that we cannot wish to end, because it looks as if it's the very natural order of what it means to be a living person. So we are exposed to crisis, we are exposed to tension, we are exposed to a time of constant change and movement. We are, one way or the other, painfully noticing the absence of our desire to remain stable, to remain orderly, and to have a structure in place. This calls on us a kind of capacity that one way or the other we have not actually perfected. But at the same time, this crisis and tension that the environment imposes upon us brings us a type of immense value. It's of immense value to those who are paying attention to what is happening, or those who have come to truly understand what life connotes and what life truly means. It brings such value that it offers us a kind of openness to possibilities, what hitherto we never considered as being possible. They suddenly become possible by virtue of the fact that we are thrown into an environment of uncertainty. Again, somehow, for many people, what defines their natural state is to begin to see challenges as actually imposing uncertainty on them, and they don't want to operate in the realm of uncertainty. I always say to people, if we say truly we are godly people, or we have embraced the principles of the divine to continue our life, then uncertainty should not be a challenge to us, because it is actually that aspect of manifestation that will make us begin to ask questions, that will make us to begin to make inquiries, that will begin to excite our inner being as to how we can advance and make things better than what we are presently encountering. So every challenge, the challenging environment, is a great opportunity for us to become the better person that we can be, and to actually advance the purpose and plan of existence on earth. Though we may be encountering periods of rough going, we may be facing daunting obstacles, we may have to endure failures again and again, and even setbacks. But all these put together, they represent an offering to each and every one of us who truly wants to live. I had a session about 3 or 4 days ago with some people, with a group of CEOs, and the issue of livingness came up. Who are the people living? Those who are living are those who are actually prepared and equipped to roughshod with all these uncertainties that are coming or rearing their heads by virtue of forces that are even beyond human control. So we can't stop those manifestations, but they do rear their heads. So how do we relate to them? How do we respond to them? How do we embrace all this and then one way or the other come out triumphing? That is the challenge of every individual who one way or the other wants to make a contribution to the advancement of humanity. How these experiences are truly handled will continue to shape who we become in life. Our proposition, or what I will propose here, is that whatsoever may be the challenge, have a mind, have a thinking perspective. Let it be concretized in your mind and in your heart, that no matter what the situation may be, you will stand out triumphing. No matter what the battles that may come, you will always triumph, because that which is required to triumph is inbuilt in each and every one of us. But if we don't activate them, then we fall short of what is expected of in terms of our appropriate response to those challenges. So we must have that capability to showcase a kind of refusal to succumb to the contrariness that may be confronting us. We have to learn to respond with gut and instinct. We have to develop what I call creative intuition. And as the last speaker also emphasized, a kind of resilience. So we need to transform a piece of our being, a piece of who we are on an increasing basis by virtue of these contrariness and challenges that we may encounter. I think most of the spiritual books that we have been exposed to also reinforces this aspect. It says that the way we think, when we know what is in our mind, when the knowledge that is embedded in our mind, in our hearts, are of such that they are aligned with the universal purpose for which we exist, we will always triumph, no matter what the obstacle or challenges may be. We are always overcomers. We are always winners. That is what I believe most of our religious perspective have been trying to teach us as to how to live better. But one way or the other, we seem to fall short of this practical expectation when these challenges are coming our way to actually test the stuff that we are made of. We balk sometimes, we fall short of the right response. But the lessons of life clearly shows that these difficult challenges that we are encountering ought to be seen as the living laboratories of emotional intelligence. That is, how we can emotionally respond, how we can intelligently use our life energy such that it will be in sync with the purpose for the construction of the future, with the purpose of what the future requires, not what the past requires. So we say, therefore, that adversity actually is the test of our core being. Adversity is the test of our character, whether we are in private or whether we are in the public circle. We are continuously being confronted with diverse adversities, and we also engage certain things that one way or the other we disconfirm our expectations. When we encounter this, for many people, somehow it's as if the momentum is punctured. It's as if the energy to forge ahead is punctured. Hope, one way or the other, is more or less snuffed out, and our trust becomes something that one way or the other we want to put at the back of the burner. But this ought not to be so for whosoever is truly a living person. That person will recognize the fact that success actually implies going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And that word enthusiasm, in your spare time, I want you, I was almost going to call you Amazons, but since I saw some men in our circle, Gideon and the others, I resisted myself, but I thought I was going to be talking solely to women, because women seems to be, perhaps, if it is agreeable, one of the most powerful things that God created on earth, if they are truly having a godly mindset. Somehow, some of them, forgive me, are so cantankerous, we don't see the kind of God that we expect in them. But you see, they are the very ensign of creativity. They are the very cave in which that which you call life is actually nurtured and is incubated. So the future always is in the hand of the woman, because the woman is the touch of the future. So we are simply saying that let the kind of strength we find in women, especially when a woman is about to put to bed, the uncommon resilience, the uncommon power, and the uncommon force that the woman shows, enduring through those 9 months of incubation, when life is being incubated, and then at the point of birth, the kind of power that comes forth, and then the triumph when the woman has brought forth a baby to the world, that the woman expresses almost instantaneously, having gone through a kind of pain that is uncommon. Then sometimes you see the woman coming out smiling, triumphing. That, in my opinion, is what I call joy. And I think they bring so much joy, they express so much joy as having contributed something to the preservation of the human species. So the enthusiasm that keeps us, in the woman in particular, in that state must be common to all. we must learn what it takes to go through such an experience. And we must incubate our energy with such expectation of enthusiasm. Check the meaning of the word enthusiasm in time to come, in your spare time. But it connotes something. What it simply means, the spirit within. When the spirit within us is excited and is full of expressive manifestation, there is no way we get discouraged as to overcome hurdles or obstacles that may be on our way. So what it calls for, therefore, is adaptability. How well and readily we can keep our enthusiasm alive. How well you as an individual will flow with changing circumstances, rules, regulations, standards, and so many other things that are trying to say, this is the way to apply yourself. Do not apply yourself in this way. But by virtue of our emotional programming, we seem to have been preconditioned to respond in a particular way. But the new manifestations in the environment is simply saying, you can't use that old methodology anymore. You must use this new. You must look at the new that is announcing itself and change your methodology, change your attitude, change your behavior, so that it will be in sync with what the future is expected. Otherwise, if you don't change, you are left behind. So when business environment is being transformed or changing, and the rules are changing, it is not for us to sit back and begin to complain and mourn. It is rather for us to let that spirit that is inside of us well up with enthusiasm. I think, you know what they say, there is a river of life that flows on the inside of everyone who truly is aligned to his maker. Let that river of life begin to pump up enthusiasm on the inside of you. The river is a very powerful symbol of what life it should be. The river, in my opinion, is the best teacher of what leadership surely should be. Let me quickly say this, although I didn't want to go into that, and I hope I do have some time left. The fact is, all of us, we live as a body of water. Biology says we are about 80% or 70% water. It says the blood that is flowing inside of us is about 90% water. And we are all the time flowing. In our atmosphere, you have the preponderance of oxygen and hydrogen, which are the elements of water. So even moving from one point, moving from point A to point B, from one location to the other, is as if you are moving or wading through a body of water. Now, if you look at a body of water, which we call river, you begin to recognize their importance in life. It's the reason why most geographical locations are named after rivers, because of the service that they render to make life possible. Every body of water in the form of a river serves virtually every kingdom on earth. It serves the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, and sometimes I say more than the human kingdom, because there is a kingdom that is more than us, that seems to be interested in our affairs. And then this water, this body of water is always serving them. But the body of water is always having a purpose. Ultimate purpose is to empty itself into another river or into the sea or to disappear in the ground. So you must know your purpose in life, for which is the reason why you are involved in business. You must know that that reason why you are involved in the business is also in sync with the reason why you are even having the breath of life in you, so that there won't be a kind of conflict, so that all dissonance can be resolved into harmony. And when you act in a particular way, your actions will always bear the expected fruits. So when contrariness therefore come, consider the river again. No matter what may be the obstacle in the path of a river, you can see the kind of intelligence that the river uses. Navigating around such obstacles, sometimes it will tear away those obstacles in order to get to its destination. That must be the spirit of enthusiasm in each and every one of us. Because we may not be able to control exactly what is happening around us. Rivers most of the time can't control what is happening around them. But they can always choose how to relate to these obstacles, to this contrariness. And my challenge to you is be more adaptable, because this adaptability to contrariness promotes that concept of resilience, which the last speaker also emphasized in her paper. This implies sensing waves around obstacles, calling up again and again our adaptability and resilience. That is, we should develop a kind of emotional adaptability, which will activate and expand our excuse me, and activate our physical and mental capability. Now, remember, I did mention that that person, the personality is defined by a triune nature. One, the mental, the emotional, and also the physical. So when one way or the other, you go through circumstances that are contrary to your personal expectation, to your comfort zone, that comes to shake you, it is to take you to a higher expression of who you are, so that you can actually have a reward of more life, more understanding of what life takes, so that you can progress even onto higher challenges. So emotional adaptability activates in us and expands our physicality and also our mentality. So we therefore must, as much as possible, develop the learnable aspects of emotional fitness. We must learn to be fit for whatsoever may be happening. The enemy of being fit is the refusal to be malleable, is the tendency to always want to become rigid and concretized and believe that this is the way things should be. The orderliness of the moment is what we continue into the future. But that is not so. Whatsoever is orderly now is prone to become chaotic. And when chaos manifests itself, it is your duty as an enterprising individual to step into the chaos and bring to bear a type of order according to the modicum of intelligence that is inside of you. So we can only learn this aspect of emotional fitness through practice. It's not something that we just drop from heaven into our being. And I must say that they are already coded inside of us, but they require activation. In each and every one of us, this faculty, they are lying silent. So the onus is on you to find a way of activating them, especially when the challenges rear their heads. So they will assist us whenever a sudden change in circumstance or obstacles are sensed. So we need to develop a strong sense of flexible optimism and the ability to bounce back after things go wrong. Flexible optimism is what we call hope. And then the ability to bounce back after things go wrong is resilience, rooted in what I would call trust. I hope you can still see my slides, please.
Yes, sir. We can see your slides, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we must therefore learn to handle rejection with grace. It's never the end of the world. Whatsoever rejection we may have, whatsoever disconfirmed expectations we may encounter, we must meet them with hope and trust. That is the strength of who we are. And this is rooted in your will as an individual. Now look at it, my dear sisters. Your will must be in alignment with the will of our Maker. The will of our Maker is rooted in his purpose. Now, the problem is that purpose for many of us is not totally known. We only see semblances of it. We echo out a truism of what his purpose is, and that becomes our purpose in life. And then we draw out our plans in life according to this purpose that we have discerned. So we must therefore learn that when there are rejections, when those things are not falling in place the way expected, we should not give up. It is rather an opportunity for us to showcase hope and trust. We must develop emotional resilience. Our resilience must result in a renewal, and that renewal must lead us into a type of restoration. When we renew ourselves, then we are able to restore that for which is the very reason for our being. So we must cultivate, therefore, every one of us in this conference to honor the purpose of this conference, someone who is visionary, the founder of this, what do you call it now, TEDC, the founder of Thriving Enterprise Development Center, for which each and every one of us have come into that boat of life, that ship of life, and we are carrying on the very purpose of our Maker, and we are having diverse plans in place. We will come through various types of waves. Our ship will encounter various types of turbulence, but we must ensure that we have that ability to respond in such periods of crisis, in such periods of tension, in such that whatever may be the appearance, we can always bring it to reflect the very purpose for our existence. So this is a critical need in times of our constant flux and periodic change. Equipping ourselves with adequate experience so that we can become more goal-fitting for all this contrariness is the call of the individual growing up, developing, and becoming matured. When you are not going through all this, you don't have what it takes to say that you are a matured person. Maturity, therefore, must go with mutability. When there is a state, when that state now, through a process, evolves to reflect a higher version of its lower self, that is what we call maturation process. We are therefore expected by the spirit that is living inside of us to become more matured rather than to remain as babies who will continue to expect a mystical intervention as to what to do when we have been equipped with all the senses and all that we may require to show forth the skill of overcoming all contrariness. As I'm saying in this slide here, for this purpose, mutability is needed to undergo a radical reorientation to the spirit of synthesis. Everything that is working according to the plan and purpose of our maker works through synthesis. That is what the kingdom of plants, or the plant kingdom, that's what they have taught us through the process of photosynthesis. The process of our expression of the nature of God is in our mind. So we can say that we have to develop the skills of psychosynthesis. Psycho meaning mind. How will you use your mind, therefore, as a center of synthesis? And you know how the plants behave. No matter what you do to the plants, it's so rugged, it will take everything, that which is beneficial, that which is not beneficial, mix them together, use them to still produce fruits that will serve humanity, to still produce oxygen that will sustain life on our planet. That must be our attitude. No matter what may happen to us, let this capability be developed in each and every one of us. Let us undergo a kind of reorientation to understand the spirit of synthesis. Because in the spirit of synthesis, there will be pain. There will be fiery experiences. There will be a lot of things that will remove all our rough edges and all that is impure in us, so that we can always come out shining and become better fit for the purpose of our existence. So we must engage harmoniously in what the biologists now call the edge environment. The edge environment is an environment where transition is manifesting itself. That's what we are going through in Nigeria as it is. We have been missing it. We have taken so many things for granted. But you can see somehow policies are coming in place now, showing that we are going through a process of transition, not just in Nigeria, but globally. What I referred to earlier on as the more than human forces. They are already saying that, look, you people, you better wise up, grow up, mature. Otherwise, you will be left behind by virtue of the plan for transformation that is happening. I think that's one of the greatest lessons we should learn from COVID-19. Most of the things that are unseen, most of the time, are so critical, and we must learn to integrate them in our process of synthesis. So mutability implies the quality of being liable to undergo change or alteration and not become so fixated and rigid and concretized. It indicates the fact that something is not fixed or stable. You know, Heraclitus is one of the great philosophers of our time, of years gone by. He said something. He said, you only enter or you step into a river only once. You do not enter the same river twice. It must come into our understanding. Circumstances that you are operating right in now suddenly will be changed. I think our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for those of us who know Christ, and even I believe the equivalent is in other faiths, it says that you do not pour new wine in an old skin, because you must be transformable. You must transmute yourself, and you must change your structure. You must be transfigured. It's a sequence. Transmute, transform, and become transfigured, such that you can be fixed for the challenges of the future. This mutability, therefore, is the characteristic of an object, having properties whose values can change its object itself, and then to maintain its unique identity. This is what I'm proposing. Let's learn, therefore, to develop what it takes to operate in the edge environment. What characterizes an edge environment? The like of which we are going through in our national environment or national experience as of now is crisis. Crisis will always result in tension. Depending on how you respond to that tension you will have a manifestation, you will have an appearance. So if you know how to handle, if you can understand the forces of this crisis, and you can assimilate what you require to deal with the tension that is resulting therefore, then your response will bring an appearance of that which will cause advancement, and will not necessarily cause us to become immobile and not advance and become the person that we are supposed to be. So the challenging economy is a transition or edge environment. These are places of high intensity where ecologies are in tension. They tend to be a species-rich environment. That is, for those who can operate under this type of tension, for those who we said, let this tension come, greater is he that is in me than he that is manifesting all this tension. And I have written and coded inside of me the formula by which this tension can be tamed, by which this crisis can be overcome. It's only left for me to find a way of reaching out to acquire the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom that can tame all these seemingly roaring lions that are now harassing us in our environment. So it's a species rich because resources are abounding. They are there, which can easily be touched, tapped, and brought together using synthesis and provide a solution. I say to people, we love to claim that we are godly. And I say to people that, look, the only parameter of your godliness is the extent to which you behave like your God. And your God primarily is a creator. So the extent to which you can creatively make the new manifest out of that old is the extent to which you are truly a godly person. So let's be more creative. Imbibe the spirit of creative resilience. Go through that mutability experience and let the new be brought forth. The edge effect approach, therefore, is providing us that opportunity to transform our thoughts. A man is an embodiment of his thoughts. So what are the thought forms that you have been generating? How do you think? Is it time for you to change the way you think? Is it time for you to look at life from another perspective, an enlightened perspective? Or do you want to continue to wallow in the darkened thoughts that have been imposed on you by lessons of the past? Take whatsoever is of the past that is in sync with the light, the revelation of what the future is, and then learn to transform your thoughts and bring forth the potential that lies therein. These edge environments are pregnant fields that are creating conditions for the emergence of unique patterns to bring forth a new meaning of life. In times like this, the entrepreneur or the economically engaged person, we can better view them as regenerative practitioners. Each and every one of you, my dear sisters, begin to see yourself as a practitioner in the skill of regenerating that which has been committed to you, that for which you have accepted responsibility, that which is your duty to remain alive. This is the reason why you have been preserved so far. So you are existing to regenerate. You are existing to renew. You are existing to restore, such that what seemingly might have been defeated or not working according to plan can be brought out again in a new version that will be workable. Such regenerative practitioners are skilled in the recognized forces that are at play in their community, the community of resilience, renewal, and registration. Before I round up, I will round up with this. There is something which they call the biologist's law of three. The biologist's law of three has these three forces. Let each and every one of us, from today's Mayokun Oreofe's birthday anniversary, add something to ourselves. Even if we have known it before, let us increase our understanding in it. And let's put it to practice, not just by word of mouth. Let it be that we recognize that in every environment that is really thriving, that is really living, there will be an activating force that will be initiating a new line of action. 2, there will also be a restraining receptive force that is sluggish due to inertia, not immediately open to receiving that initiating action, that initiating force. That restraining force is seeking to define, to refine, and to limit the activating force. Then there is the third force, which is the reconciling force, always independent. What I'm saying, therefore, proposing, therefore, is that each and every one of us must recognize these three and go through a self-directed learning process of mastering it as a tool to be used in finding solutions to the kind of challenging environment that we are now facing ourselves. It is always going to ensure that our hope will never make us hopeless, will never fail us, and our trust will continually be reinforced. So we need to see clearly, therefore, and then value those two opposing forces, activating force and then the receptive force. We need to seek to make conscious of the appropriate reconciling forces, and we need to develop a modicum of alertness at all times, sensitive in the spirit, and this is critical for every regenerative practitioner. It is only when you are sensitive that you will be benefiting from that force of serendipity. Many of you know the meaning of the word serendipity. That is the incidental discovery of something that is valuable. It appears unexpected. It's a brilliant result created through a combination of efforts and luck, joined by alertness and flexibility. Look at those variables there. You must learn to pay attention to them, be aware of them, be conscious of them. Simply not wish. That is a place for prayer, that God give me the enablement to do what I must do. The prayer in this instance is a prayer of enactment. Enactment because as you make that extra effort, as you make that push to participate in this realm through a combination of efforts, sincere and genuine efforts. You can't go and put up an effort that is not measuring up to what is expected in order to make certain things to become manifest. Go through a combination of such efforts. Luck will come your way, but I don't really want to call it luck. I simply want to say that there is no one who will go through this, paying attention, being alert, being flexible, that will not receive an answer from the more than human, from his maker. It is therefore called a process of enactment. The last speaker actually did say something about intentionality, and that is becoming a word that is so critical for anyone who wants to actually be seen as a disciple of progress, an ambassador of goodwill, someone who will see our Mayokun as a beacon, as a forerunner, and who will want to walk in that same steps, not just because of what they can get from the process, but because it's a shining example of the light that is pointing to a better future. That's intentionality. I want each and every one of us to begin to examine it. In your business, what is your intention? What is your motive? Is it to consume upon your loss? Is it for self-aggrandizement? Or is it as a result of the fact that you have suddenly become aware of what is deposited in you, and the purpose of what is deposited in you is to actually offer solution, becoming godlike in every sense of it, as a solution provider to your environment, to your community, to your neighbors, to the people one way or the other you have to interact with. My dear friends, I want to simply say, take time to equip yourself with what is required for the next contrariness that may manifest itself. Your business will not go under, in so much as your intent is to do the will of him who has given you and equipped you with all the talents and all the gifts and all the resources to forge ahead. I want to wish you all a better future, a brighter future, a beautiful future. And once again, our dear facilitator of joy, Mayokun Oreofe, happy birthday. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That was deep, deep. Thank you so much, sir. We are so grateful, so grateful. Thank you. Yes,
God.
please let it keep coming, keep coming. Everybody, let's keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you. We really, really appreciate you. We so much appreciate you. That was fantastic. So deep. It's something we all have to sit down to listen to all over again and internalize it, make sure we, get all the tips, all the nuggets there. We really need to sit down with it. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Yes, Kemi, please, I hand over to you. Let's take on the Q&A session.
Wow, 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 wow. That was amazing. Amazing, amazing. Wow. I don't even know where to start from. Thank you so much, our facilitators. The two of them, they have done fantastically well today. And we cannot but to say thank you. Thank you for honoring our invite. Thank you for those words of knowledge. Thank you for imparting us for courage to take action. You know, for the two of them, please, it's question and answer time. And we can send in our questions to the chat room. But as we send in our questions, you know, there are constant words in both facilitators. Thank you so much, Dr. Omoyemi. Thank you so much, Professor Olugbenga, ably represented by my sister. Resilience, tenacity, those are the constant words. We have to be consistent. You know, incidentally, there is this quote by our celebrants. And I want us to, you know, take it to heart today. He said, if you focus, because Dr. Omoyemi talked about intentionality again, and also the first speaker did that. He talked about paying attention to your intention. So our favorite quote of recent is this: if you focus your attention on your intention, you gain momentum. Momentum is that force that pushes you forward in your business, in your life. So these are quotes, our favorite quotes around this time. So I want us to take it. So if you focus your attention or your intention, then you gain momentum. That means you move forward in your business. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Intentionality, discovery. I mean, that is amazing. And that is what we need. And you know, it's all, businesswoman is all about who we are. And that is also the celebrant. As we're all talking, I'm just imagining what is going on through through the celebrant's mind, because those are our words, the choice of our words. You have to know yourself. Discovery, self-discovery, that is it. All right, so can we have our questions? I hope we have questions in the chat room right now. Let me check if I can get some. Tech team, please, I need your help. You can feature some for me. Our facilitators are around to answer our questions. And you know, the best of any seminar is when you ask questions and then you have answers. And Yoruba adage say, if you ask for the road, you will know the road. Right. All right. Thank you so much. Let our questions start rolling in. All right, so let me start with Dr. Omoyemi. I'm just thinking for someone
let me give you my name, Omoyemi.
Omoyemi. Oh, sorry, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Omoyemi, I'm sorry, sir. All right, so for someone that is already at the point of he or she has lost it, like there is hopelessness already. How do we bring that person back to the place of seeing that there is hope, that you can still achieve, don't give up? How do we bring, you know, incidentally, earlier this year, there was a young lady, I understand, committed suicide. She's a banker. Not for anything, she said she's tired of the economic situation of the country, and then she ended it. So how do we, you know, bring people from that end to the point of saying that there is hope?
Thank you very much, ma.
Yes, sir.
My proposition always is, man, know thyself. Is the oldest philosophical injunction to man. And virtually all sacred literatures are attesting to that. And I believe that's why he says, when you know the truth of who you are, you will be liberated. Once you allow the worst of sin, that's what I call it, the worst of sin on Earth planet. Once you wallow in ignorance and you do not know what you are supposed to know and that which you need to know, then that person is a problem to virtually everyone. I'm sorry to say, if it is not blasphemy, even to God, it's a problem because he's wallowing in ignorance. And the opportunity is there for everyone to come out of the darkness of ignorance, to enter into the light of knowledge, to enter into the light of understanding, to enter into the light of wisdom. I feel that that is the greatest breakthrough that anyone can have. And the moment you have this, if I can call it miracle, to be delivered from ignorance, to now have an insight. So this is who I can be. So this transformation that you are asking for, we start with the individual first. It cannot be a collective thing. Because when an individual is held in the prison of the past, and everything that is emotional in you and I are actually rooted in the past. I make bold most of the time to offend people when I say, as much as possible, don't be emotionally connected to your past. Do away with all these historical pasts that are holding you back from unleashing your energy to go forward. You see, these things are not, they are simple. If truly you know we in whom you have come to put your confidence. But if you put your confidence in that which has expired in terms of relevance and what your memory keeps bringing back to you, you see, there is a principle in psychology. It says 90% of the things you think of today are the things you have always been thinking of since the day you started growing up. So then why are you reinforcing those things that are holding you imprisoned, that are not helping you, that are not liberating you? Why can't the veil be removed so that you can see clearly the future and then change your thought patterns? So 3 things, man, that I will say so that I won't be too elaborate. Check your thoughts. How do you think? Our thoughts are the building blocks of the future. If your thoughts are riveted in him who gives you abundance of life, in fact, I come open and close, you will see that gradually your body, your brain, your mentality, even your emotional self and your physical self will gear themselves up in alignment, in attunement, in atonement too, so that they can forge in the direction of your thoughts. 2, your emotions, are they sabotaging you? Are they emotions that are, and I want to say that 99% of what we have stored up in our emotional self are full of errors. They are not rooted in reality. They are rather rooted in that which is unreal. Maybe you will need time to reflect on that. What is real? What is unreal? I'm always running into trouble when I bring that up in my sessions. But I might ask you, my dear sister, is it real that we are having this session? Is it a reality?
Yes,
It
sir.
is not a reality. It's not. It's an actual event.
Okay.
It is a fact that we are having this session. But what you become by virtue of participating in this actuality becomes your reality. Am I making any sense?
Yes, sir.
So
Absolutely.
let the individual, therefore, go through an emotional recalibration, self-directed emotional recalibration, having come to know the truth and is hungry and thirsty for knowledge. You see, in the Far East, there is a common saying. They say, when the student is ready to learn, the teacher will appear. So let that hunger and thirst come in you first. Talk to the Holy Spirit, talk to your maker, talk to whosoever that I believe I need help in this direction. so that I will not continually be held captive and I will not continue to sabotage myself from my greatness. Let me leave it at that. I hope I've scratched the question.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, the second facilitator. Sorry, I didn't get your name. I'm so sorry about that. You are representing Professor Lubenga. Sorry, are you on?
Damilola, please, Damilola.
Okay. Yes.
All right, Damilola. Thank you so much. All right, so this question goes to you. In view of what is happening with dollar rates in the market now, what advice do you have for businesses that are dollar dependent, people that import and all of that? What advice do you have for them? Did you get my question, ma?
Ma, please, can you take your question again?
I said, in view of the dollar rate, the rate, the exchange rate that is not stable, and the rate that is going up is scary. I mean, what advice do you have for businesses that are dependent on dollar for their business? Businesses that depend on dollar. What advice do you have for them? How do they cope? How do they manage at this time?
Thank you, Ma. So for businesses that are dollar dependent, one of the things I would like such business to look into would be e-commerce, right? I think I said it again and again in my presentation, how that you can actually do business online without necessarily having to transact physically, right? So for a business that is dollar dependent, things like drop shipping models and creating online platform that would actually target local markets, local customers, so that because at this point in time, the dollar rate, the exchange rate is not encouraging, right? So you want to focus on your local customers. I mean, that's why we always usually encourage, to patronize our indigenous businesses, So you want to focus on your local customers so that you can make the most of that opportunity.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, ma'am. Doctor, do you have any addition on that? Any suggestion from your end?
Well, I think that's a fantastic contribution from our dear sister. And I can only add the fact that emotionally, when this type of situation is confronting us, the first thing to do is to learn to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are not emotionally equipped, the next thing you do is you enter into the crisis, will throw you into a state of tension. And you cannot actually see clearly what you should do. You can't even hear from your maker or your inner self or your intuitive self. This is the solution, this is the path to follow. Confusion will therefore reign. That has driven many people even to suicide. So my first proposition is remain calm. Understand the forces at play. Journey inwards and do not allow those signals, those forces announcing themselves externally to confuse you. Having retained your calmness, then look at those three forces again. The activating force, the restraining receptive force, and then look at how you can reconcile those forces based on your mission and your purpose in life. So when COVID-19 came up, you can see the way it threw everyone out of balance.
Yes.
It was a global phenomenon. We are still paying for it. If it are not for global COVID-19, I'm not sure I will be on this program because I'm in Ghana presently. I'm not sure, because the mindset will still be let everybody come to Lagos, let everybody come to the venue. But one of the benefits of COVID-19 is the fact that we now know how to use technology to simplify our life better than ever before. So be calm, stay calm, cool, calm, and collected. These are the prerequisites for any intervention, for any remediation. If you rush into any line of direction when you are confused, it's bound to bring a catastrophe. I hope I'm making some sense.
Yes, sir.
Let's leave it at that.
All right. So as we bring this seminar to a close, then this session to a wrap, I just want Damilola and then Doctor to speak briefly on this. This where we are, the situation of the country, maybe of the world as a whole. Is there any hope that things will change? What do you have to say? What is your take? This global recession, everything going up. For Nigeria, I think, maybe, I don't know, okay, I have sisters around, but for Nigeria, the rate is scary, and it seems we don't even have the backup or the trust of our government on what to do. So what do you have to say? I want, okay, Damilola, you go first, then Doctor will follow. Is there any hope that things will change soon? What do you have to say about that?
Okay, thank you, Ma. So I'll say that this kind of trend might not necessarily be new. Maybe the how enormous it is now, but things like this kind of inflation challenges and all that, they've all happened before, right? But then one thing that the other speakers has been speaking about is your thoughts, right? What did you set out to achieve, right? So then check yourself, continue to can you hear me? This is my
yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay, ma. So what are your thoughts? Do you see yourself, able to achieve that goal, or get to that point where you set out to go get to, before you started your business? Then those are the things that would then encourage you, to begin to see how to put things together. Even amidst the crisis, amidst the situation, you'll be able to put structure in place. Because crisis, a crisis does not come, or crisis do not come to just set you out of business that way, right? It's actually a test of your perseverance, of your tenacity, of your consistency. Because problems actually occur, and that is what people build businesses around, right? So when another challenge comes around, you want to look at ways that you can be the solution to that problem. And so to answer your question, if there is any hope or any hope for the future, if things would get better, I would say yes. Because like I said, we've seen this before, and the good book as a way of just encouraging us over and over again, to put our focus on that which we desire much more than the situation and circumstances around us. So that would be it for me. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. All right, Doctor.
Thank you so very much. I think you are Oluwakemi.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. I will try to be very brief, but that question you have asked is a 1-week seminar discussion. I had a stint with some development bankers recently, and these are people who are rooted in analysis. And sometimes they come to a conclusion that may sound hopeless. But I asked this question that day, that the companies, those companies, global companies that have been relating with money, finance, and have proven themselves, what methodology did they use? One, company, in my own opinion, stood out. That company is Visa. The founder, you know Visa, that Visa card.
Card, yes.
The founder is called The Hawk, a very quiet performer. You can please look for his book. He wrote a book which he titled Chaotic Theory. You can Google it in your spare time. Then understand the principles of chaoticity. He coined that word from chaos and order. And his final recommendation to anyone who wants to engage in activities, developmental activities, or live truly, that person must follow the principle, what he proposes, must follow the natural order of things. Natural order of things. And when you are talking about the natural order of things, the principle is very clear. It's very simple. It's in nature. You understand what we call the ebb and flow of life? You know the ebb and flow of life? You can Google it in our spare time, so I won't take too much of your time. But my dear sister Oluwakemi, as you are seated there, are you breathing?
Sure, sir.
How do you breathe? Can you explain it to me? The process of breathing. It's very simple. You take in and then
nose.
Okay.
Then
A simplistic illustration, but it's a fourfold process. Look at it. There is exhalation. There is a pause. There is an interlude. There is inhalation. There is a pause. There is an interlude. 4 processes. Natural order of things, representing ebb and flow. Life cannot continue on a continuum, straight line continuum. Everything that depicts life is either spiral in nature. It's always spiraling. So there will be a moment, and I think most of the Holy Book taught us that. They taught us that there is a season for everything.
Yes, sir.
So if we have a dull season in Nigeria, let's know that we are in the valley. After going into the valley, there will be what? A rising up onto the mountain top. And then you can come back. It is the natural order of things. Am I making some sense?
Yes, sir.
Let us use that symbology to answer that question you asked.
Well understood.
There is still hope for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amazing time. We actually celebrate you. All right. Thank you, Damilola. Thank you, Doctor. We are very grateful. So one word as we round up this session. As a man thinking is as so he is. That's what the Holy Book says. So let's take that to heart. God will help us in Jesus' name. All right. Right now, I'm going to call on the celebrant, our president of Thriving Enterprise Development Center, Pastor Mayokun Oreofe. Can we have you, ma? Congratulations on your birthday, ma.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I believe it's afternoon now.
Good afternoon.
I am so thank you. I am so those who know me on this call, they would confirm that everything you said is so spot on. Thank you for the extent of delivery. There's something called the well, and there's something called the borehole. I would say, sir, that your delivery is the borehole. because you went really, really deep. Can you hear me? I'm having a bit of challenge with my
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
We
you
can
can
hear
hear
you,
me.
ma'am.
The
Yes, ma'am.
network is failing a bit. Okay. So I just want to say thank you. It is so robust what we have heard this afternoon. And from the two speakers, from the two facilitators, I must say that they were just speaking my mind. Kemi just confirmed a part of it now when she was speaking and referring to me. There are three buzzwords for me in 2024. Intentionality has always been a thing for me. And this year, the Lord had told me intentionality is key, which I call being deliberate. Self-awareness is more like something that He has underlined in red as well for 2024. And resilience, I think, is the new air that we must breathe in. For me, these three things out in 2024 if we must succeed. So as you were delivering your paper, I'm taking this as my major take home. I mean, you said a lot of things, but this really resonates with me. You said success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. I say that exactly is the way to go. Thank you so much. If we want to begin to speak to all that you have spoken to today, we will have another session here and more. I have been personally blessed, and I'm so grateful that this is happening on the occasion of the 55th year that God has allowed to live in the land of the living. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you to the fantastic team that the Lord has given me in Thriving Enterprise Development Center. Thank you for thinking of this initiative and for the consistency for sustaining it. This is the 5th year that this is holding, and I'm so grateful. Even when I'm not thinking about it, you guys go all ahead and then you come up with it. Thank you for the honor. The Lord will honor you too. For every participant, this is not a birthday celebration just like that. This is like the food, or more than the food that is served at a party. Because the physical food we eat at parties, we eat it, we enjoy it, we relish it, but we forget about it when we eat the next meal. And the next day comes and we scramble for another food. But I'm trusting God that what you have received here today will become a lifetime meal to you that you will never finish eating. That you will go and sit with it and you will digest it. And it will actually do what it is intended to do. That is, the intention behind putting together this lecture is for you to be able to scale in these challenging times, for you to be able to sustain your business. But I would also say for you to be able to sustain your life. It is somebody who has life that can sustain an enterprise. So I'm saying that may this be like a tool for sustainability for us through this period and beyond, as the Lord will help us. And again, I also want to say that we're praying in the name of the Lord. It is good. But where we pray in the name of the Lord for everything that we have listened to today, and we do not get up to execute, it won't fall from heaven. So I want us to be a bit more realistic and objective. Let us know that when we pray to God, He's there to help us, but He's not going to do for us what we are to do on our own part to be able to see the end product or the end result that He has in mind when He put things like this together for us. So I'm challenging all of us to rise from here and go and do well with what we have listened to today. Let it not just be another lecture, that just goes down the drain. Magnanimously, the team has decided to avail, today's lecture. I even understand that it's on YouTube, but beyond, so that you can take it over and over again. And I would also encourage you that you share it, with your community, share it with your friends, share it with people in the same business with you, form a community and discuss these things. By the time you begin to discuss with the people to take salient points that you are also going to latch onto, Again, I say thank you, everybody. This is a very memorable birthday for me, and this lecture has kick-started so powerfully. So my birthday is actually on Tuesday, the 27th, but it's good that you have prayed ahead the Tuesday. Thank you, sir. God bless everyone. Have a good day.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you to all our speakers, Professor Olubenga Ogumeyela as representative, and Dr. Lemmy's session. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you. And a big thank you to our president, looking out pretty in pink. We celebrate you, Ma. Many more years in the mighty name of Jesus. All right, and to every one of us, thank you so much for creating time. You could have been doing just about anything on this Friday afternoon, but you decided to come, learn more on how to build, resilience as far as sustaining and growing your business is concerned. So I think we just come to the end of the session today. But before we wrap it all up, I have just two major announcements for us. Of course, my colleague Bode has told you what TDC is all about, because we're aware that there are some people who are not from the TDC community. We welcome you, we love you, and we want you to join the community. Be great. So make yourself available. The registration is going to be out very soon, and it's a paid event. So let me just, inform us ahead of time. It's a paid event, and don't say, why are they bringing money? Can't they say that the country is somehow? That's the more reason why you have to spend money to, acquire the knowledge you need to be able to scale up, and be able to be more resilient in the times that we are in right now. Also, we have a signature entrepreneurs course, Tech One. It is a life changer. Trust me, this is not, I'm not making mouth here. Tech One is a life changer. Tech Module 1 is a life changer. Ask anybody who is an alumni of TDC, they will tell you. And our course offering, is very, very, very robust. Talk about, self-discovery, which Dr. Lemmy, spoke about today. Business, sustainability, and things, your finances, everything that has to do with your, business succession, structure, leadership, everything you need to be able to build the kind of business that will survive the kind of season we're in right now. You're going to be taught everything and more, because by the time you're done, you move into our community, the community of our alumni, and there, the feeding and the interaction continues. So I want us to note those 2 dates. Our alumni conference comes up on the 11th of April. Promises to be awesome. And then Tech Module 1, 13th of May. By the grace of God, those two events, they are paid programs. So don't say, why are they asking us for money? Can't they see that a crate of egg is now 4,000 naira? Save your money, don't eat egg. Learn, build up your cause, and God, will help us in the mighty name of Jesus. And with that, we've come to the end of this session. Once again, thank you to our to our speakers, Dr. Olubenga Ogumeyela, ably represented by Damilola, and Dr. Lemmy. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we're wishing every one of us a fantastic weekend in the mighty name of Jesus. Go and do mighty and great things. Like, our president said, there's no point, so that you don't have knowledge indigestion, so that you don't have constipation. Go and execute, audit, assess, measure, evaluate, and then repeat. Like they say, repeat the process. And already we know that this session, is on YouTube. So you don't even need to pay anything for you to be able to have access. You don't need to wait until we send you the replay link. Just go on YouTube, sit with it, with your notebook. I had mine here, as the session was going on. With your notebook, take note, and then put an action plan in place. And as you get results, we'd love to know, share your testimony with us, how this has impacted you. Thank you very much. See you and have a fantastic weekend. From all of us at TDC, bye, and see you next year by the grace of God. Thank you very much. GM, over to you.
Thank you. Bye. Love you all. Oh, your first time at TDC. That's so nice. Don't worry, you will get more correspondence from us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
For the remaining of us, let's sing happy birthday
Happy
to you.
to
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday. Happy
happy
birthday.
birthday
birthday,
to
Mama.
you.
May the good
Good
Lord
Lord
bless
bless
you.
you.
Be
May
able,
the
may
good
the
Lord
good Lord
bless you.
bless you. May the
May the
May the
good
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 Lord
Lord,
Lord
bless
may
you.
the
Our
good
our
Lord,
president
yes, may
bless
the good
the
Lord
good
Lord
bless
Lord.
you.
bless
You.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip,
Hooray! She's a jolly
Thank
good
you, everyone.
fellow, but she's a jolly good fellow. She's a jolly good fellow. And
and
so
so
they
say
all of us.
Hooray! And so
hooray,
say
Hooray!
all of us. And
hooray,
so
Hooray!
say
Hooray!
hooray.
For
For
she's a
she's a
jolly good
jolly good
fellow.
fellow. For
fellow,
she's
for
a jolly good
For
she's a
she's
jolly
a
fellow.
good
jolly good
For she's a jolly
fellow.
good
fellow.
She's a
She's a
fellow.
jolly
jolly
good
good
And
fellow.
so
fellow.
they all
And so say all of
of us.
us.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Wonderful.
TDC team, thank you everyone. TDC team, please let's meet in the chat room.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.